In the quiet town of San Pedro, where the echoes of football dreams resonated with the narrow streets, a prodigious talent emerged from the shadows. It's not a story of goals and victories. It's a tale. It's a tale about one of the greatest managers of the world. It's a tale about the footballing alchemist. A man who turned ordinary into extraordinary. Well, I'm Siddharth Nagar, your host on this journey, and we're going to step into the pages of one of the greatest managers in the footballing history. His name is Pep Guardiola. He's a visionary strategist, and he's not just a manager. He's that kind of manager who has turned the football pitch into the canvas for the artistry. And he's not just a manager, he's a beautiful philosopher of this beautiful game. And he's hailed from the streets of San Pedro, Spain, and now he's continued his journey from the Camp Nou to the Allianz Arena and now in the hearts of Manchester. And he started his journey from the Dynamo midfield in FC Barcelona when he came as a player under Johan Cruyff in 1990s, early 90s, and became the part of the incredible dream team to orchestrating the unprecedented success of Tiki Taka in the late 2000s. And this man needs no introduction at all. He is one of the greatest managers of footballing history, and he is Pep Guardiola for a reason. Picture the Camp Nou at the late 80s and in the early 90s when Johan Cruyff was appointed as the manager for FC Barcelona. Pep Guardiola was eventually part of the Barcelona C squad, then he was promoted to B team, and then he was brought to the main team by Johan Cruyff, and he emerged as the heartbeat of the philosophy, the team, the dream team at that point of time, and he embodied all these lessons into his managerial career, and he revolutionized the modern football. And it was the 6 years that he played with Johan Cruyff, but he also continued with the club for 4 more years. In the beginning of the 2007 and 8 season, Pep Guardiola was appointed as the manager for the FC Barcelona B squad. They had been relegated from the third division and the changes had surely to be made. Pep Guardiola brought players from the C team and he made a better team in that season, and he brought strict discipline, he brought professionalism, he introduced fines, and he made a better team out of that. FC Barcelona, the B team, won the league and they were promoted back to the league, back to the third division under Pep Guardiola's first season as a manager. In 2008-9 season, Frank Rijkaard, the current manager at that time, he left the club. Ronaldinho left the club for AC Milan, and it was said that Samuel Eto'o will also leave the club, but he stayed for a season more. And Pep Guardiola came in, and the story is not just that he comes in. Actually, Joan Laporta, the president at that point of time, and the current president as well, he actually wanted Johan Cruyff to once again become the coach of the team because we know what Johan Cruyff had done in his previous journey with the club, and this time he wanted again that Johan Cruyff should come and bring his legacy once again to the current set of players, with Pep Guardiola being the assistant coach under him. But as it was said and as I've read, Johan Cruyff didn't appoint himself for that position because also his wife didn't wanted him to get to that position once again, and he was also struggling with his health, and this is one of the reasons that Cruyff did not come to Barcelona as a manager once again. So you might think that Pep Guardiola was going to be the manager, but there is a slight turn in the pages that most probable candidate at that point of time was Jose Mourinho. I mean, just imagine Jose Mourinho coming in to Barcelona in 2008 with those set of players. The story could have been different. We don't know, but still. But it was Johan Cruyff who suggested Joan Laporta that Pep Guardiola would be the right man for that position at that point of time. And even Pep was young, and there had to be a lot of changes made. Pep Guardiola becoming the manager for the main team of FC Barcelona in the 2008 and 9 season was a very tremendous thing. Because if you just look at the stats of the La Liga in that particular season, Barcelona totally in total scored 105 goals, and it's not just about scoring 105 goals, but it is also about playing the beautiful game in that, bringing that philosophy into the football pitch, and also not only winning La Liga but winning all the trophies in that particular season, including the Champions League, Super Cup, and the Club World Cup. Just imagine a manager being promoted to the main squad and winning six titles, all of the titles in that season, in his first season, is a very tremendous thing. If you just look at the start for the next season, FC Barcelona again won La Liga for the second time, scoring 98 goals. It's a very huge thing. You might think that it's not a very big thing, and not everyone can do it. It is something like that. 98 goals, and in the third season, winning La Liga once again, scoring 95 goals. Just imagine a manager with those certain set of players who have been brought up in La Masia and who have been taught in La Masia, brought up in La Masia, raised in La Masia, and now they have been coming in to the main team, main squad, playing for Barcelona under the manager who is bringing a certain philosophy in, and they all set it. They all click together, and that's what the beautiful thing about this whole era was. And it, if you just look in the fourth season, they scored 114 goals in total. Of course, Real Madrid scored 121, and the GD was 100. And Real Madrid won the league in the fourth season of Pep Guardiola being the manager of FC Barcelona. But 114 goals, 98, 95, and 105 goals. If you just count them, they're over 400. And as a manager, it is a really big thing. And if you just look at the team, Lionel Messi, Andres Iniesta, Carles Pioli, Gerard Piqué, Victor Valdes, the list never ends. You have all the players who are good in their positions, who all click together, and who have that awareness on the field, who can play one on ones, who can play tiki taka, who can beat the player, who can drop and just uh, pass the ball at any point of time. And you have geniuses like Lionel Messi, him being the best, one of the best forwards in all the four seasons, playing for Pep Guardiola in that point of time, really helped the club. And all these players and the manager also, they all gelled up together, and they all made a dream, one of the dream teams, and one of the best footballing magic you will ever see in the 2000, in the 21st century. And this team will be remembered as one of the best teams of footballing history. If you just look there, Pep Guardiola has done a tremendous job. Victor Valdes, Gerard Piqué being the best defenders for consecutive years. Barcelona are a side that have most remarkable possession battle wins, and the number is very huge. It is 317 consecutive matches between 2008 and 2013, and in these 5 years, in these four seasons, if you just look, that's the legacy that Pep Guardiola has left. Like, you can't always win, but that's the system that was created by this great manager, that you have to keep the ball, you have to control the game, you have to make the opponent lose their mental strength. They can't always chase on for 90 minutes straight. They will get tired, they will lose the ball, and when you get the ball, then you make your movement. You make the game by passing the ball, looking for the option way before you get the ball, and then you again pass, and that's how you have great individuals, and that's how the game is made. And we had great players in this whole era, and the legacy of Pep Guardiola are in the nights when Barcelona was playing against Real Madrid in the Santiago Bernabeu, in the Camp Nou, when Barcelona won against Manchester United in both the Champions League finals. when Barcelona won against Chelsea. And this is a legacy. It is a beautiful brand of football that Pep Guardiola left, and it was from the manager's part. If you just look at the players as we discussed earlier, Messi, Gerard Piqué, Busquets, Xavi, Iniesta, and if you just look furthermore, Pedro, he came later. If you just look, Pedro, these players, they stayed with the club for a very large amount of time. They were young when they came in 2008, 2009. Gerard Piqué came from United, uh, and Carlos Puyol, of course, at that point of time. These players stayed with the club for the next, almost the next decade, and that's the legacy. These players continued the legacy of Pep Guardiola, the playmaking style, the game playing, they continued for the next decade as well, and that benefited the club for a very huge amount. And that was a time when we saw Lionel Messi scoring 91 calendar goals in a year. Like, it is genuinely crazy. If you just imagine, if you just look at the brand of football at Barcelona, players were playing at that point of time as a team, as individuals. It is tremendous. But with the philosophy which has gained some power and the tactics are incredible, there comes a decline at point of time when the things don't work, and that is how modern football has shaped in some way, that players are getting more physical, they are running continuously for 90 minutes, they are chasing, and that's where kind of tiki taka also declined in the later 2010s. And also these players retired, they left the club. Xavi retired in 2015, then Iniesta left, then Gerard Piqué, Messi, Busquets, and these players carried the legacy of this club, continuing from 2008 to 2010 and till to the COVID era. These players were the epicenter of Barcelona's philosophy. Xavi has come in now, but and Xavi has come in and he's bringing his new philosophy. But Pep Guardiola doing that job with those players, and those players continuing to play for the club for couple of years, next several years, has been tremendous. Guardiola, as a manager, he wanted to bring changes in the tactics of FC Barcelona, which were under Frank Rijkaard at that point of time. Then he brought changes. He wanted possessional play. He wanted to keep the ball with himself. He wanted to control the game with his players, controlling the ball, because that's what all the 22 players are after. If you want to score, he wanted to keep the possession. He wanted high intensity playing in the team, that whenever you have to charge, you all go and you charge and you try to dismantle the opponent, and you dismantle their position, their player positioning and structuring of their formation by charging and all going into charge, and that's how you win the ball. He wanted positional play. He wanted players to stay in his position. He didn't wanted them to shuffle up and just mess his tactics, but he wanted a straight discipline. And as we also discussed, that there were players who were very good for their position, like Penny Alves. If you just look, uh, Adriano at that point of time, you had uh, Gerard Piqué, Carlos Puyol, and of course the midfield trio, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, all settling in for their position at their best. And this was one of the best things of that team. And if you just look for the further things, there is a holistic player development that comes in. Actually bringing in the players from the youth team, and if you just look, he is doing the same thing with Manchester City also, bringing in players from the academy, bringing in players from the youth team to the main squad, and they do really well. And there have been examples from Barcelona to Manchester City, they all have been incredible. Strategic set pieces, he had, even set pieces are seen as opportunities, and he wanted them to exploit each and every opportunity as much as possible. And last thing was creating an identity. You just don't play, you make a brand, you attract people to watch you. That's kind of manager Pep Guardiola is. And he is a very, very great tactician. Pep Guardiola really credits Johan Cruyff for his success, and he also says that when he won the sextuple with FC Barcelona, he went on to Johan Cruyff and he thanked him genuinely. He actually talked about the kind of impact that Pep Guardiola has had in his career uh, and in his managerial career. It was impeccable and incredible, and that's the legacy Johan Cruyff also had, which passed on to FC Barcelona and which passed on to Pep Guardiola. The learnings, and Pep Guardiola also says that Johan Cruyff made him better. He made him use both of the foots. He made him aware in the field, and we talk about the hunger of football players, because when you realize that things that you've tried in the football pitch, and whenever you realize them happening on the ground, that is a totally different feeling, and your hunger deepens, and there's a lot of depth, and you want to try more things, you want to win more titles, and you want to play better continuously. And Pep Guardiola can't thank him enough for his success in his career, in his managerial career, and that's the impact of Johan Cruyff, and now passing on to Pep Guardiola and passing on to FC Barcelona, the fans in the in the all world. It is amazing. It is amazing, and we really thank him that we got the chance. We were privileged to see him, to see that squad playing a beautiful game so beautifully that you want to watch them, and that is amazing. So in this episode, we'll just talk about uh, in this episode, we just talked about Pep Guardiola and the FC Barcelona in the 2008 to 2012 era. In the next episode, we'll be talking about the Luis Enrique's FC Barcelona, the football team who won the treble. Enrique coming in as the manager for Barcelona for the very first time and winning treble on the very first season. And with the same players, Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets, these players changing, keeping that tiki-taka philosophy continued with Barcelona, and that is how the team win the treble. So for this episode, thank you for watching. We'll meet another time. Thank you.